Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are from Group 3 from class D1 AM 1104B. We're going to present a slide presentation for our video project assessment for the subject PAD381 Southeast Asian Studies, and we prepared this video project for Sir Muhammad Shafiq bin Hassan. Today we are going to do a video presentation about the country in Southeast Asia, which is Brunei. So let's move to the introduction of the country of Brunei Darussalam. We move to the next presenter.
Spans from pre-Islamic times to the present, with insight from various sources dealing in rulers, political shift, and international relations. Archaeological findings about Brunei's early history, leading to its transformation into a sultanate under Malay Islamic monarchy, and its role as a crucial trade hub in the South China Sea. And from 1954 to 1962, Brunei experienced significant constitutional and political changes influenced by British policies and local movements like the PAD381 Brunei. For the early history, Brunei's origins date back to the 7th century when it was a powerful Hindu-Buddhist kingdom. It later adopted Islam in the 14th century, and then Sultanate of Brunei became powerful sultanate in the 15th and 16th centuries, controlling parts of Borneo and Philippines. During the colonial era, Brunei entered a period of decline in the 19th century due to internal strife and external pressures. It became a British protectorate in the late 19th century to save against threats from neighboring powers. Brunei gained independence from Britain in 1984, becoming a sovereign state with Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah as its ruler. In the modern era, Brunei has since focused on economic diversification, particularly in the oil and gas sectors, while maintaining its traditional monarchy and Islamic identity. Political system. Brunei political system practice the absolute monarchy and political framework, which is the government structure of Brunei is an absolute monarchy with the Sultan serving as both head of state and head of government. And for the legislative body, possesses a legislative council with 36 appointed members holding only consultative powers. And for the global status, Brunei is one of the 7 monarchic dictatorships worldwide noted for its stability. Brunei's political system is an absolute monarchy where the Sultan holds both head of state and head of government roles. And then the Sultan has absolute executive power under 1915 Constitution and was by 5 councils, which is the Privy Council, Council of Succession, Religious Council, Council of Ministers, and Legislative Council. And then for the Legislative Council that is established in 1959 consists of 36 appointed members with consultative roles. And then for the last one is political stability. For the political stability in Brunei is upheld through welfare provision and religious authority, with the Sultan playing a central role in governance.
Okay, for the next is social in Brunei. Okay, for the social cohesion, Brunei is predominantly Muslim country, addressed to the conversation social, conversation influenced by Islamic principle. They respect for elder and authority figure is emphasized with hierarchy structure prevalent in the both social and work environment. For the next is religion. Islam is the official religion of Brunei and play a significant role in daily life and structure in Brunei. The majority of Brunei is Muslim, and Islamic practice and traditional shape many aspects of society, including law, holiday, and culture. Masjid are important. The community center where Muslims gather for prayer, religious education, and social event. Now, I will start the economy of Brunei. Economy of Brunei is depend on petroleum and natural gas. Brunei economy heavily relies on the exploration of its extensive reserve of petroleum and gas. These resources account for a significant portion of the country GDP, government revenue, and export. For the next is agriculture, fishing, and forestry. Why this sector contribute less significantly to Brunei economy compared to oil and gas? They still play a role, particularly in providing employment and supporting local communities. Agriculture mainly focus on rice, vegetable, fruit, poultry, while fishing contribute to domestic food supply and some export.
the main issue, the main point of this video project, which is the domestic issue that happened in Brunei Darussalam. The first point of politics, which is electoral process. The hereditary Sultan, Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah Muizzuddin Bad-Daulah, is the head of state and prime minister and continues to wield broad powers under a state of emergency imposed in 1962. In recent years, authorities have appeared to be paving the way for Hassan al-Sons, Prince al-Muhtadi Billah, to take power. There are no indications that any transition would involve moving away from a traditional monarchy. The Unicameral Legislative Council has no political standing independent of the Sultan, who appoints its 33 members. Brunei has not held direct legislative elections since 1962. Elections are held for village-level council that play a consultative role, so candidates are vetted by the government. There are no national-level electoral laws, and there have not been any national direct legislative election in over 5 decades. The second point of Brunei politics domestic issue is functioning the government. No national-level policymakers are chosen through election. The Sultan wields broad powers and is counseled by appointed advisory bodies and the appointed legislatures. The Legislative Council only serves to suggest changes to policies and legislation that ultimately need the approval of Sultan. In 2015, the government enacted amendments to the Prevention of Corruption Act, which strengthened the anti-corruption framework by establishing new conflict of interest rules for public officials, among other provisions. The government claims to have zero tolerance policy on corruption, and its anti-corruption bureau has successfully prosecuted several lower-level officials. While Brunei has not experienced significant terrorist activity, it is not immune to the global threat of terrorism. Its proximity to regions with active terrorist groups such as the Southern Philippines and Indonesia means there is a risk of spillover or radicalization within its borders. It begins by stating that Brunei has not faced major terrorist incidents in its territory. However, it emphasizes that despite this lack of direct experience, Brunei is still susceptible to the broader global threat of terrorism. Natural disaster. Brunei is prone to natural disasters such as typhoons, floods, and landslides. While these events are not directly related to security in the traditional sense, they can cause significant disruption and require effective disaster management and response measures. Brunei faces the risk of various natural calamities, including typhoons, also known as hurricanes or cyclones, floods, and landslides. These events are caused by environmental factors like weather patterns, heavy rainfall, and geological conditions.
Thank you for Suhail for the previous presentation. Now I move to the economic. For the economic, we have been two parts. First is economic performance, and the second is economic growth. Alright, for the economic performance, first point we have in 2022, Brunei witnessed the highest level of inflation in 27 years due to increased price increase for the number of commodities through the years brought on by supply. The inflation rate was 3.7%. The second point is chain interaction, which increased import and transportation expense, travel and tourism, non-alcoholic beverage, and food items, and other goods and services were the main contributor to the domestic inflation. But the inflation stayed under control. In contrast, the double-digit increase observed in many other regions of the world. Singapore's high of monetary policy reduced inflation as Brunei Darussalam kept its currency value equal to Singapore. The impact of increased import price was mitigated by this. Next, we have the economic perspective. This point, export growth is probably going to pick up speed. Growth prospects for export are supported by the anticipated rise in the production of natural gas and crude oil. Second, furthermore, it is anticipated the government-owned enterprise Brunei Fertilizer Industry maturing operational procedure with steadily output crude intended for export. The primary source of import in recent years, crude oil, is anticipated to decrease as Hengi industry refinery production is disputed by the planned maintenance. Crude oil is used as feedstock for the downstream petrochemical industry. As a result, growth is anticipated to be sustained by the network. Alright, we'll go to the first point, which is youth employment. Youth employment persists despite economic expansion, raising questions about the composition of workforce in the future. For the second point, we have the mental health. There is continuous stigma associated with a mental health problem, and more easily accessible, and culturally appropriate mental health services are required.